Thank you for joining me today. I am here to go over the results for the usability test that we conducted on the School of Library and Information Science website. We had 6 participants. They aged between 21 and 50 years old. 50% were male, 50% were female, and all of them were internet savvy individuals. They all use the internet a few times daily. 83% of them had visited a college or university website within the last year. However, none of them had visited the Kent State University website before. So this was a brand new website for them. Task 1. So this is the first one we had them complete. We wanted them to locate the full-time faculty list. So we had them start here at the home page. And they could either use this menu that spans across the top, or they could have chosen one of these links at the bottom. The full-time faculty page could have been accessed either way. All of them did that. 100% of them completed it successfully, and the average completion time was 40.2 seconds. Task number 2, they were to locate the admission process for the knowledge management program. So there was one participant who just clicked right on the home page. We weren't really sure about that. We're not certain whether this was because the participant thought he had found the information he needed on the home page, or whether the participant gave up and just hit the complete task button. Regardless, the other 83% completed the test successfully with an average completion time of 54.5 seconds. Task 3 was to locate the information on different degree programs within the School of Library and Information Science. And surprisingly enough, participants had found this in 3 different ways. All of them were successful, though. 100% of the users found it successfully. The average completion time was 66.2 seconds. But I guess going through the different ways to get to the same information just shows us how minds think differently. And luckily, there was information on the different degree programs on multiple pages, so it didn't make any difference. The overall results were really great. 94% of the tasks we gave to the individuals came back to us successfully. They graded our overall usability of the site as 50% saying it was a good usability, 50% said it was an excellent usability. And after each test, they were asked whether or not the task was easy to complete. 100% of people said the tasks were easy to complete. So as far as suggestions going forward, there's really not that many because this site performed really well. I'd say that it was great that we put the information both here at the top of the main page, as well as in these links, so they could find them in one or the other place instead of just having to locate it in one. The one thing I might suggest is that we might change the wording of academics. Up here we have a menu called academics as well as a link called academics. Now, I wasn't quite sure that the users could tell that that was what they clicked in order to reach the degree programs. It looked like when they were going through the process on that question to find the degree programs, that they were not taking a direct route through those menus. They were going to other pages before they got there. But besides that, again, it was a great page, and I think we should all be happy with the design of this site. As far as the test is concerned and the use of Loop11. So my results for task 3, here's the URL that I chose. Also correct results. These are URLs that could have been used. However, I did not put them into Loop11 like I was supposed to. I had only found two of them, two of the URLs, and really there were three. So I had participants who walked through, and initially when they had completed the task successfully, it wasn't registering as a success because I had not entered the URL in. So this lapse affected the validity of my data on task 1 and task 3 because I unfortunately did it twice. So the great thing was that Loop11 allowed me to follow the path of my participants who completed the tasks, and then I could change any unsuccessful end URL to a successful URL with just a few clicks. And so my data ended up being valid in the end because I was able to make those changes after the tests. So otherwise, that would have been just a completely dispiriting process in order to change all of that data and like manually go through it. So I learned two important things off of that. One, scour the complete website so you understand what information is where and whether the information is duplicated on multiple pages. And then two, run the pilot test with a participant other than myself. If I had had someone else do my pilot test, I might have not run into this issue because I could have resolved it before the test was even administered. And I did read this in the text, but neglected to think to follow the advice they gave me. So this assignment reminded me not to do that. The other issue I had was that a participant came up to me afterwards and told me he had marked the wrong answer on the follow-up question to the first task. So I didn't find a way to change that in the participant's answer in the Loop11 software. So therefore my test data was flawed in that respect. If you see here, there's 16.7% strongly disagree. That's not right. It should have been 100% strongly agree that this was an easy task to complete. However, I wouldn't have even known this if he would have come up to me. I'm not certain I would have ever found it out if he hadn't been my friend and someone I knew who completed the test. It was just a remote usability test on a participant in a different state or something. I probably wouldn't have known. So I just went ahead with the data. And then, of course, as everybody, had trouble with the JavaScript, so I had the weather.com usability test completed and it had to be completely scratched, and I had to build this test with the Kent State website. And I'm concerned, I think the tasks were really easy, and that's why my data, like everything played out so well, because I had to dumb down the task so much in order for it to work on Loop11 without inserting the JavaScript. So I'm a little concerned about whether or not this would have been the perfect test to really judge the design of the site. However, it was a great test in order for me to see Loop11 and its functionality. And I liked its functionality, and it was easy for my test participants to understand. So the test participants completing the tests, they were all happy. They all did it. They all came back with great comments on it. And then me viewing the results, I was also happy. I really liked the way the data was laid out, and easy for me to review, easy for me to make those changes when I had to, and I would definitely use this again to complete a remote usability test. Thank you.